So let's get going. So thank you for joining us today. My name is Todd Milbrand. I am the distribution sales manager here at Sangoma. This is part 2 of our series on FreePBX and PBXact and growing your business with those two products. And today we're going to focus on the unified communications piece that is within both of those products. If you attended last week's webinar, you already know that FreePBX and PBXact use the same code base. PBXact is the commercially hardened version of FreePBX. And today we're going to be focused on user control panel, Zulu Desktop, and Zulu Mobile. And for those of you that didn't join us last week, just so you know who we are Sangoma. We are the stewards of both the Asterisk open source telephony engine, as well as the stewards of FreePBX. We are not a fly-by-night company or some guys that just got started. You know, in the last year, we've been around for 35 plus years. We make everything from connectivity services with SIP trunks and a cloud PBX to we've got gateways, SBCs, phones. We can be the entire part of your portfolio from A to Z, or we can be various different pieces of that puzzle for you. We are proven financially, about $150 million in revenue, publicly traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange, been profitable for a very long time. We've got about 400 employees spread out worldwide with our global headquarters in Toronto, but I would say the majority of our folks work in the U.S. We do have folks all over the world on every continent. And some of the folks using our products are big names that you know, like Verizon, and competitors like Avaya. But you know, not a day goes by that I don't hear or come across to someone in my daily life using our products. I just went to the gas station at lunch about 2 hours ago, and the woman had her phone on speakerphone, and I heard the default music on hold from Asterisk 1.4. So whoever she was calling was using a very, very old version of Asterisk, but that happens to me in my daily life. I go to a lawyer's office and I see some SIP-based phones, and you know, having called them, like I can hear that it's using our software, and you know, seeing our phones elsewhere. So it's not just these big folks. You know, our bread and butter is the SMB, the sub 500 market, and like I was mentioning, we can be A to Z. So we can be voice and data cards that go into your PBX. We can protect your network with our session border controllers, put in a phone system with our phones, give you services around it, or we can just be a piece. And the piece that we are going to talk about today is Zulu and user control panel. And I'm going to start in user control panel. This comes free with FreePBX and PBXact. You don't have to pay anything additional on either to have it. And once you load it up, either personally or for your users, you will actually start. Moment. With a tour, right? So I'm going to close this out to restart that tour. So first time you log in, it's going to walk you through all this. You know, so you don't have to sit there and go over everything. Of course, we have training at training.sangoma.com, which I'm going to go to my handy links or handy resources thing right here, training.sangoma.com. We'll get you trained up on how to use user control panel, set it up for your users. We also have that tour. So once you give them the login, they can come in and begin to configure this and use it in the manner that is most appropriate for them. So first thing I want to point out, this is not a static screen. So what you are seeing is most certainly not how it's going to look for everyone. You can resize all of these widgets, put the ones that are most appropriate in, put them where you want them to. and then use them as needed. Over here on the left is where you can go to add all these different widgets. And you also have settings and the ability to make and receive a phone call. So you download FreePBX, you don't have a phone, you want to test things out, right from user control panel, you can use the built-in soft phone, as well as the 21-day free trial for SIP-Station, assuming you don't have a SIP provider for incoming and outgoing phone calls, to make and receive phone calls. Or if you don't go to that step, you can set up several extensions and make test calls between the two. And this will just use your laptop microphone, or even better, as far as sound quality is concerned, if you have a USB headset, I would use that. So after you can start making and receiving phone calls, you can do various different things with the phone system. So over here, I have the widget for call forwarding. And if I click on the gear right there, it'll bring up the timer. And if I click on any of the pluses, you're going to see this throughout user control panel. So you don't have to go digging in our wiki. I mean, of course, the information is in the wiki, but you or your users can just click on the question mark and actually see what something is for. So call forwarding, this is just a call comes in to my extension, regardless of how it comes in, whether they put in my extension number, they called me directly, got to me somehow else, Julie transferred them to me. It's going to forward off to wherever I tell it to. And unconditional just means that it doesn't matter, it's always going to get sent off somewhere else. Or I can set it so that it call forwards when I'm unavailable or busy. And in this case, if I were fortunate enough to have a secretary or someone helping me out in that manner, I could put their extension in, and it would just automatically, when I am busy, forward over to that person. Now, find me, follow me is in the same, similar to call forwarding, but it's a little different, right? So find me, follow me is a set of instructions that says, call me here, then try here, then try here and here and here. You can get pretty crazy with it, but what most people are going to do is they're going to ring their extension for a predetermined amount of time. And I can tell you from having been in this industry for 15 years, 10 seconds is never 10 seconds on any phone system with any carrier in any part of the world. So you will have to play around with this to actually find, if you want 3 rings, to figure out where that actually is. But if you don't pick up there, it'll then go to your find me, follow me list, which is typically just going to be your cell phone number. And you can enable that, and that allows you to make phone calls, or actually receive phone calls when you're away from your desk that you want to get. Over here, we have the conferences module. And from here, this is a conference bridge. So if I were to call into our phone system right now, I would be able to actually see a live representation of who is in my bridge. So I'm going to do that real quick while I'm talking. But if I click on the settings gear, just like with any of our other modules, I can get some granularity that allows me to do various different things. And if I close out of here, I can now see someone is in my bridge. I have the ability to mute that person, and I can also kick them out because it's my bridge. So moving on, built into user control panel is also presence. So from here, I can let others in my organization know whether I'm away or on Do Not Disturb. This allows them, when they want to chat with me, to know whether or not I'm available for a chat. We'll see some more of that when we get into Zulu. Contacts, this is both internal as well as external. You can add folks, and all of this stuff syncs up, right? So one thing you're going to see is if I set my presence to away, when I go into Zulu, it's going to show as away there too. And so this is a quick place for me to go ahead and find people It'll also sync with my Sangoma branded phones as well. Now, if you're using SipStation, you do have the ability to send SMS text, both from Zulu and user control panel. And if I go through here, I can, you can see I've demoed this quite a few times to myself. And since I know it's going to come up, back in 2017, it looks like I sent a picture. So if you are using an SMS-capable DID with SipStation, you can send MMS as well. So moving on, I've got my call history down here. So this is searchable. So if I want to see if I missed a call from this particular extension or how many times I've talked to that person, I can go ahead and search through all that. Now, I've worked here close to 4 years. Storing this data was very small, so we never delete it unless you reinstall or do some other things. But as you can see with Tom Ray, I've had 2,300 interactions with him. And it's also where if any phone calls are recorded and I have permission to as a user, which by the way, everything you're seeing in here is permissions based. So if you don't want a particular user or group of folks to be able to do something, you can absolutely limit those things. But from here, if I have the ability to see stuff, this is where I would, under playback and controls, be able to listen to any phone calls that have been recorded. And as we get down here, we also have another place for voicemail. So I can see any voicemails that have been left for me. And this also has what is my favorite feature within the phone system. And that is our VMX locator. I don't know what VMX locator stands for. Nobody knows. I don't think whoever developed the feature knows, but somebody branded it VMX. It's not a very good acronym, or it doesn't tell you what it is. But what it is, it's a personal IVR. My biggest pet peeve is I call someone, they're traveling for work or they're on vacation. I'm not prepared, and I hear, call this person at blah, 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 blah. So now I got to call back with a pen and paper or with, a tab open on my browser ready to type it in. VMX locator, I'm able to tell people, hey, I'm on vacation. I'm not going to have access to voicemail. Press 1 or press 0 in this case if you want to get immediate help from person A. Press 2 if you need this type of help. Press 1 if you need this type of help. It's not a sexy feature, right? Like Zulu, Zulu Mobile, you'll see it's kind of, lack of a better word, it's sexy, but this is very useful. So with that being said, and out of the way, we're going to move on to Zulu. So once again, user control panel, everyone has access to this. We go back to the handy resources, type in UCP and Wiki. There's a whole bunch of things there. Training.sangoma.com. There's videos that you can go through for FreePBX and PBXact that will walk you through more of those to get you up to speed. At this point, I'm going to move over to Zulu. So Zulu is our unified communications tool. It's a productivity tool, right? It allows me to very quickly see if someone in the organization is on a phone call, whether or not they're at their desk, and then it gives me a whole bunch of various ways I can communicate with them. You can see up here I'm using my desk phone. So I prefer the S705 that I have on my desk. I don't like the soft phone, but I can switch it over when I'm traveling. And that'll allow me to make and receive phone calls just like I'm in the office. You can see I'm set to away here, right? So I'm going to go back to available. If I go into user control panel here, it switches me over to available. So regardless of what people are using in the organization, it all syncs together, right? So over here on the left is where we choose the types of interactions or things that we want to do. We've got another place for voicemail. I mean, let's be honest though, most people are going to do voicemail to email. Not everybody likes that, so it's here for you to listen to and manage and delete. I've got a call history here. If I go to Tom Ray, I can see everything here. I can chat with him. I can see he's available. If he was on a phone call, he would show up in green up here, and it would say on a call. And that would allow me to figure out how I was going to interact with him, right? Which, let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, if he's on a phone call and I need to talk to him, it's going to be a quick chat. 1M, not 2, right? If he's available, though, I can very quickly come here and choose to call him. All the various ways of calling him are available there. If I want to interact with Leo over in marketing, I can see he's available. And as I choose, again, that interaction, you can see we've got a whole bunch of things going on here, including we can share files, we can share GIFs, and it's GIFs, not GIFs. And if you think it's GIFs, please go to Astracom this year, and Julie will fight you over that. One other thing, I know Leo is on his mobile, but if he's at his desk, I can always call him, but I can also share my screen with him. We have that in beta that's going to be coming out here shortly. So as you can see, there's various different ways I can communicate with individuals. And it's not just individuals. I can also create rooms with multiple people. So if we're working on well, I'm not going to search for one. I will actually just create one for you. Or we can join one. Let's see here. I think I'm already in the Sangoma one. Or I can actually just go ahead and create a room. I can make it public or private. And then, we can have 10, 15, 20 users, whatever, working on a project, doing all of these things together. So it's like a group chat. If you've never used any sort of tool like this, it's like a group chat to allow folks, whether in the same department, working on individual products or projects, to have quick and easy access to discussing things together. And of course, all of it's searchable, whether or not it is just an individual or it is a group. And then lastly, if I need to call someone that's not in my contacts or I haven't interacted with before, I can come here and type that into the keypad, call them. In this instance, because I'm using my desk phone, my phone is going to ring. I have it set to auto answer. So I don't even need to pick it up, or I don't need to do anything on my headset. It auto answers and connects the call when I hear ring. All right, so we're trying to keep these to half an hour. If you were on this last week, we had to go an hour to get a lot of things in. So I'm going to talk about CRM Link here for a moment, and then we will actually do a live demo of Zulu Mobile. And then if there's been any common themes with the questions, I'll have Julie come back on and we can answer them real quick and be wrapped up by 2:30. So customer relationship management, you've probably, if you're not using it, you've probably heard of Salesforce or Sugar CRM. These are tools that when you call into somewhere, think a call center, like your cable company, when they ask for your phone number and your name and all that, that stuff's already been on their screen before the call was even connected. But what that allows for is for you to very quickly go into a customer's record, see notes, see various different things, as well as log the phone call. So we have a module. It comes with PBXact. You have to purchase it for FreePBX, but it'll allow you to interface with all of these various CRMs, and it'll give you a generic API. There's so many out there, we can't possibly develop for all of them. But if there's an API available for the one you're using, you can use our API for the link to sync the two up. And what will happen when they're synced up is call comes in, it will pop in anything related to that person. You can see notes, you can see if they're a lead, you can see phone calls. If you have it set up correctly, you can even see emails to and from that contact or that account. And then depending on your permission level, within the call history, so it's going to log that call. It'll show who it went to, who answered it, how long it was for, whether it was answered or missed. And if the call was recorded and you have permission, you can actually go back and listen to that. I know I have found it useful. I had a colleague who told a customer something that I never thought they would say, as far as promising that we would do something. Went back, listened to the call, and the customer was right. That colleague did do that. So Zulu comes with PBXact. CRM Link comes with PBXact. If you want to try this out on FreePBX, we have a 1-year, 2-user license on Zulu that you can purchase through the portal. And we have a 1-month license on CRM Link. And even though I'm in the wiki right now and I'm showing you want to look for how to purchase FreePBX commercial modules, you are going to quote unquote purchase the 0/free trials. So go to the wiki if you don't know how to do this. You'll need a portal account. There's links to that, and it'll show you how to do that. And it'll walk you through, as you can see, there's the free trials. All right, so now we are going to move on to Zulu Mobile and see if there are any questions. So let me get logged in here. And there we go. So Zulu Desktop is available for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. Zulu Mobile, this is available for iOS and Android. We seem to always get asked if it's going to come out for Windows Phone. I don't know if there's just Windows Phone enthusiasts out there, people being smart Alex. In case you were wondering, because you're being either one, it's not going to come out for Windows Phone, just those two. And what I can do from here is I can make and receive phone calls just like I'm in the office. It uses the Opus codec and WebRTC to allow for good sounding phone calls, even in lower bandwidth or high jitter or high latency situations. And if I just want to call someone, I know the number, I'm going to put that number in, and it's going to appear like I'm calling them from the office. But you get a little bit more than that, right? It's more than just a soft phone, right? I can come here and see my missed calls and call those people back. It's another way for me to get my voicemails. Chat. So all of my chats are here. You can see my interactions with Leo from earlier. I can even share files from here. Screen share is probably not coming, just in case you're wondering. That'll be a desktop only thing. And then from here, I can also go to settings and I can set my availability. So when I set myself to away on here, it's going to set me to available, or I'm sorry, away on desktop, and everyone can see that I'm away. And one thing to keep in mind, if Leo was on a phone call right now, it would show up here as well. So I can use that to make my decisions on how I want to interact with him. I know for myself, previous to this application coming out, anytime I wanted to interact with someone, say when I got off an airplane, right? Murphy's Law, you get off the plane, everything goes to hell. When you look at your email, well, before I'd have to wait for Windows to boot. I would then have to wait to connect to airport Wi-Fi, then get Zulu up, hope I find someone, start interacting with them. By the time I get the baggage claim, my bag is over with the airline because I got there so late. I'm now rushing to a meeting. Now I just open up Zulu while I'm walking to baggage claim. Usually by the time I get there, I've already chatted with someone in the appropriate department that can help me out. And at that point, I'm able to get into an Uber and make it over to whatever meetings I have. So at this point, that is the conclusion of what we're going to be presenting. I'm going to ask Julie to come back on and see if any particular questions have been repeated that we should maybe answer.
There's just been a couple that there's kind of a theme there. So we have one. The question is, so it looks like there's an icon for the directory in the Zulu Mobile, and they're asking does the client software also have a directory as well?
It does. As you can see here, the phone book, this is actually my personal phone book. I allowed it to access that. You don't have to. And then when I come here, on this side, it's all search. Since you're looking for individual interactions, it's all search within here. So it's not the directory. Apologies. All right. What's the next question, Julie?
So this one's interesting. Have you heard anything, Todd, or any feedback about issues with the voicemail on Zulu not showing up?
On an older version, yes. Now, keep in mind, I'm on an alpha version. We eat our own dog food here. It's not that it wasn't showing up, but like the way it was rendered, the graphics, it was essentially unusable. So I would suggest trying to do an update, both within Zulu as well as Zulu server on your PBX. Actually, where is that? General. You can see I'm on alpha, and I've got experimental features. But if you come down here, you can see you can download application logs and submit them to support. If you are experiencing that, I would recommend reaching out to support if after an update that has not cleared that issue for
you. Okay. I think that answered the question. And then I didn't know the answer to this one, and I'm sure you do. What is the backend SIP client for Zulu?
It is our own. It's okay. Not SIP. It's WebRTC.
And then the final question I have here is the CRM module available to buy on self-built FreePBX?
Whew. All right. So self-built FreePBX. That's.
I didn't promise you softballs.
You need to be able to register. I know it depends on what you're using for the OS. You can try it, but it's not guaranteed. So what I would recommend is actually go ahead and get the free 1 month trial. And if it works there, then you know it's going to work when you actually buy the full-on module. But the only place it is guaranteed to work is if you're on the official distro.
Okay.
I have seen various, it all depends on what folks have deployed. Some folks have their own preferred Linux operating system that they want to run things on, and lots of people do that, and it does work. But in those situations, we have no ways of guaranteeing commercial modules are going to work.
That's fair. So I think that wraps up our questions. Do you want to maybe tease the next webinar you're going to be doing?
Sure. Let me look that up real quick because I don't know what the next one is.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Oh, no worries. Oh, that's going to be a fun one. Our Sangoma phones. So discussing PhoneApps and then EndPoint Manager for UCP, which I did not touch on today. So we'll be doing that, and I'm hoping to be able to set my phone up to do a live stream of you guys actually seeing me using the PhoneApps live.
Very cool. So hopefully
Awesome.
Everyone who's attending today will tune in on March 4th for your next one.
Absolutely. And they'll tell their friends and their spouses and their parents and all of their loved ones. And they will have everyone on here.
Perfect. Well, thanks for your time today, Todd.
Thank you, everyone, for your time today, and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.